My name is Randy Iwase. I'm Chair of the Public Utilities Commission. To my right is Caroline Ishida, who is one of our Commission counsel. First of all, you guys are hardy people. If you can see our dress, it's kind of cold for us. Second, we have our dengue fever protection outfits. And I see all of you are in shorts and, yeah, we'll bite them back. But it's good to be here. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce where is the consumer advocate? Jeffrey Ono, he's the consumer advocate. He's here tonight. This is a public hearing on Helco's application filed on August 10th, 2015, in docket number 2015-0229, requesting the Commission's approval to construct a permanent overhead 29 kV transmission line, 69, excuse me, transmission line through that's why she's here, a transmission line through a residential area on Mamalahoa Highway to the new Ocean View substation. It is about the permanent overhead 69 kV transmission line. The law requires us to hold a public hearing where the transmission line is overhead. If this 69 kV transmission line was underground, we wouldn't be here today. That's the statute. For some reason, if it's overhead, we come to a hearing. If it's underground, no hearing. So that's what we're here for. I know some of you may have questions about the project itself and about the feed-in tariff program. That is not what we're here to take testimony on. The Commission rendered a ruling approving the feed-in tariff program in principle and through tariffs. The project itself is between the developer and Helco. I will say that should you have questions at the end of the hearing, after all the testimony has been received, members of Helco are here, as well as the developer. Would you please identify? He's that real tall guy. You can't miss him. Okay. So if you have questions about the project itself, or about the interrelationship between the developer and Helco, they will be available to answer your questions at the end of the hearing. We're here to take testimony. We are the ultimate decision makers, and it would not be appropriate for us to respond to legal questions that may be part of our decision-making process. So please forgive us if we are reluctant to answer your questions, because at times we cannot. But we are here, most importantly, we're here to hear you present your point of view on the overhead KV transmission line. Testimony will be taken in this order. First, we will have Helco. Second, the consumer advocate. And third, the general public. I will be getting from Ms. Schaefer these yellow sheets, and I will call you in the order that you signed up. We will have a time limit. We find that works so that everyone is allowed an opportunity to speak. We're going to have a time limit of 2 minutes. Ms. Schaefer will have a timer. When you hear the timer go off, please summarize your testimony and conclude. So, first we start with Helco.
My name is Dave Okamura. I am the engineering manager of Hawaii Electric Light Company. In this docket, Hawaii Electric Light is requesting a commission determination that the extension of the 69 kV 9600 line be constructed above the surface of the ground, pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statutes 269-27.6a. The 69 kV line extension is needed to connect the new Ocean View substation to the transmission system. The substation will serve the community of Ocean View in the Ka'u district of Hawaii and will replace Kapua substation as the source of power for this. Okay. The requirement to add the new Ocean View substation is driven by the development of 32 feed-in tariff solar photovoltaic projects that total about 8 megawatts of generation. 5 of the FIT projects are located in Miloli'i, served by Circuit Kapua 11. 27 FIT projects are located in Ocean View Ranchos, currently served by Circuit Kapua 12. The existing Kapua substation that serves Ocean View does not have enough capacity to allow interconnection of the Ocean View FIT projects. The generation from the FIT projects significantly exceeds the load in this area, with the surplus energy to be exported to the transmission system. Additionally, Kapua substation is located approximately 5 miles from Ocean View, creating voltage regulation problems. Interconnection requirement studies were performed and determined that the substation transformer should be located closer to the 27 FIT generation sites in order to provide acceptable voltage regulation and power quality for the existing customers in the area. The estimated cost of the 69 kV line extension to the substation is approximately $168,000. The developers of the FIT projects are funding the new substation and associated 69 kV and 12 kV connections. The FIT projects will be constructed in 2016. I'll be using 2 exhibits to describe the project. The project is located in the Ocean View Ranchos subdivision at the corner of Kohala Boulevard and the Mamalohoa Highway. Exhibit 1 shows the location of the 69 kV overhead line extension in red. The overhead line extension involves the installation of 2 80-foot wood poles and approximately 200 circuit feet of 69 kV overhead conductors across the highway and down into the new substation. Exhibit 2 shows a picture of the site looking from the south side with the 69 kV overhead line extension photoshopped onto the picture. The 2 new poles, pole 399X and pole 1, are identified. Existing pole 399 will be replaced with a new taller pole to accommodate a disconnect switch. Hawaii Electric Light plans to commence construction of the Ocean View substation, including the 69 kV line extension, by September 2016, and complete the project by the end of 2016. In conclusion, should members of the public have any questions regarding the project, my staff and I will be available after the hearing to answer questions and provide further details on the project. I thank the Commission for this opportunity to describe our proposed project. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Okamura. Consumer Advocate, Mr. Ono.
The consumer advocate represents the interests of the consumers in public utility matters by advocating for reliable utility services at reasonable customer costs. I am here this evening to listen to the community's comments regarding the application filed by Hawaii Electric Light Company with the Hawaii Public Utilities Commission for approval to construct an overhead 69 kV transmission line extension through a residential area on Mamalohoa Highway to the new Ocean View subdivision. The consumer advocate will take an independent look at Hawaii Electric Light's request for commission approval of this project. After completing our review, we will file a statement of position with the commission explaining our analysis and our recommendations. We encourage the public to express their opinions to the commission regarding Helco's proposal. This will assist both the consumer advocate and the commission in making its determination. As we move forward, please feel free to contact the Consumer Advocate's Office at any time to share your thoughts, your concerns, and your questions regarding this project or any other regulated utility matter. Let me provide you with contact information for my office. Division of Consumer Advocacy can be reached by email at consumeradvocate@dcca.hawaii.gov. That's consumeradvocate@dcca.hawaii.gov. Regular mail, Post Office Box 541, Honolulu, Hawaii 96809. Our phone number is 808-586-2800, 586-2800. And for anyone who still uses a fax machine,
We will now go into the portion taking comments from the general public. Again, I would like to repeat, please understand what this hearing is about. It is about the 69 kV transmission line overhead. Each testifier will have 2 minutes, and Ms. Schaefer will start with Nancy Bondurant. Ms. Bondurant? Oh, can you speak loud enough? Go ahead.
Can everybody hear me? Yes. Great. I would like to say first, welcome to our community. And I have a question for you. Have you actually been down in Ranchos?
No.
Our community is a very peaceful place. It is structured as a residential community, and it is used as such. The line really represents several things to this community, starting with a public safety hazard. We have no emergency shelter here in Ocean View. Our nearest is a 40-minute drive away from here. And it's too bad you weren't here 2 days ago when there were high winds here, because the danger of having a line come down either by high winds or by other means, let's say drivers. The intersection that you have here at Kohala is one of the busiest intersections in all of Ocean View. So we are asking that the PUC underground the line to the substation. It is not in the best interest of this community to have it above ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Summer Branson.
Yeah, okay, now I know what I can only say here, so kind of. I live in Kona, and, I live in Kona, and I have, here. I live in Kona. Oh, no, I don't.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I live in Kona, and I bought this property in,
Turn this way a little bit. I can hear you.
So, I've been a resident in my home there for 12 years, and I bought property as an investment in 2005 in Ranches. I have 6 acres right next to each other. And I finally read my deeds and what the community was actually built as a community, a subdivision. And then to find out that there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. And this is native Hawaiian land that this property is on. I don't know if you guys know this. Ancient Hawaiian land. I want to know what kind of, the Helco is actually has several guidelines they have to go through, like you talk about the underground, and it goes on their loads. It goes on the load percentage, and I don't know if anybody's really aware, because I've really done my homework and I still am confused, but our state is an integrated state. I have underground where I live, and my house was built in 75, and they just redid the lines. So, I'm filing with the consumer, with him tomorrow when this is open, because the more research I've done on how they've gotten this property is not right. It's just not right. So you'll be hearing from me. I left messages with Billy Canoys, and it's really a whole system of learning this government, and it's hard. It's a tough gig, guys. I don't fight hard. And let me tell you, I almost gave up a couple times, and I've just gotten this far. But I don't know who the planning commission this goes way back to the 19 way back. So just do your homework and research who had this land originally, what is agriculture land, and when it was, we are, and what lava zone you're in, all of that. So I'm just saying it's been a real education for me and what parts of the government, and in Hawaii we have more so because we have one state and all these islands, and we have all these different representatives, which make it even more difficult to get to the proper place. So that's what's very confusing. I've been working on this for 2 weeks and just found out it was the planning commission down in chaos. So anyway, I researched it from the original Hawaiian owners of the ranch. So do
Thank
your
you.
research, and thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Peter Bosted, and I'm an Ocean View resident down in Ranchos, about to be surrounded by solar panels. I have a PhD in high energy physics, and I'm quite aware of the issues of electricity and magnetism because I teach courses on it.
Mr. Bosted, are you supporting or opposed to the
I am speaking against the
Thank you.
overhead line, and I have two parts to my presentation. The basis of the opposition is that I do not believe that we need the overhead line because we don't need the substation, because we don't need the 30,000 panels. And so I wrote a petition. The petition reads as follows: We, the undersigned, are opposed to the introduction of industrial-scale solar PV power generation into Ocean View subdivisions as exemplified by the plan of the SPI Solar to install over 30,000 panels on 26 lots in the subdivisions of Kulakai, Ranchos, and the 21-acre parcels in between those. Our concerns include safety, property values, aesthetic values, views, and quality of life. Now, this petition was not written at the time when the overhead line was planned, but I think that the intent of this petition covers with the issues of quality of life, views, etc., would definitely address this question of having a big overhead industrial substation that we don't need in an overhead line. So this petition, which I'll show you here, was signed by well over 600 people in a very short time, and I have scanned it, and it will be introduced into the docket as an exhibit. So there we go. And my other, in summary...
Thank you. Please summarize.
In summary, I also wanted to say that I believe that the issue of grid flight is very serious and real and probably will make the need for a substation here obsolete in the near future and should be seriously considered by Helco and the PUC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bosted. Ann Bosted. Ann Bosted.
Good evening, Chairman Randy
evening.
Wasi, the Commission Counsel, and Mr. Jeffrey Ono, the Consumer Advocate. I am definitely opposed to the overhead line. Chairman, I apologize, but I prepared a 3-minute speech under the impression that we'd be allowed 3 minutes, and I wondered if I would be allowed to deliver my speech in toto, or should I try and wing it, just talk really fast?
What we'll do is we'll leave it 2 minutes, but for you, we'll give you a 1-minute summary.
Well,
Go ahead. Go. 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm off. My name is Ann Bosted, and I've lived in Ranchos for 6 years. My husband and I plan to retire here, but if these solar farms are built, we will have no option but to pack up and move. Many of our neighbors are in the same situation. We're not against solar power. We know that renewable energy is important, but it's absolutely not in the public interest to force people out of their homes just so that an overseas company can industrialize a neighborhood. Don't clap too long, I'm on the wire. I would like to go on record as being against the construction of the 69 kilovolt line in our residential neighborhood. The only reason for installing the 69 kilovolt transmission line is to service SPI Solar's project. And the only reason SPI Solar's project is here is the feed-in tariff program. This project represents everything that has gone wrong with the FIT program. The FIT program once had admirable objectives to develop renewable energy by helping small Hawaiian farm owners and ranchers with limited access to capital to construct small solar farms on poor ag land. This would have had the advantage of helping long-time Hawaiian landowners by providing them with additional income. Hawaii would have benefited as real owners of real ag land and would have been shovel-ready. However, these wonderful intentions were confounded by an overseas company, SPI Solar, which in 2011 bought 19 3-acre lots of housing land and leased a further 20 lots of undeveloped land in virgin Ohio forest. They greedily scooped up all the permits that were available, far more than could be accommodated on the active queue. As a result, there is now no geographical diversity essentially no ownership diversity and no local ownership. Instead, this developer has created a utility-scale project that should, by rights, be built and operated at a cheaper cost. Not only does this project defy the objectives of the FIT program, it offers absolutely no public benefits and instead has many disadvantages. The price of 23.8 cents per kilowatt hour was negotiated in the FIT program so that small solar farms could be built and be profitable. That price, paid to a huge developer with economies of scale on the side of the developer, amounts to excessive profits and very high costs for all Hawaii's electric ratepayers. Payments by Helco for the power will go offshore to SPI Solar and not into the pockets of Hawaii landowners so that it could be spent again and again on the island. Since all the solar farms are now concentrated in one area, the ratepayer is not getting the geographical diversity for which he is paying. This means that when a big cloud covers Ocean View, as it does daily, 6.75 megawatts will suddenly drop, and the Helco operators will have to compensate. This puts the whole island at the risk of outages. At present, we have no outages, so we don't need a new substation.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Further, even though the
Ms.
developer is paying for the substation,
Ms. Bosted?
Helco must maintain it.
That was your 3 minutes, so can you now summarize?
Okay, now,
Just summarize.
okay, now I'm summarizing. The cost of that maintenance will be the burden of the electricity ratepayer. These costs could not be here but for all this inconceived project. Another disadvantage for the ratepayers is that this project does not add to the resource mix. There's currently a surplus of daytime power in the Big Island, but we desperately need a cheap source of evening power. This is when the load is the biggest. Power from SPI's project will have to be curtailed when the grid is full of solar power. Recently, the PUC ended the very popular net energy metering program because the grid was full. Helco officials have told me that the only reason why this project is allowed to be built is that it can be curtailed or turned off. If the project will be curtailed, why is it being built?
Thank you. Thank you. Barb Winch. Barb Winch.
PUC is the P means public, the people. A couple of solar meetings were held here at the Ocean View Community Center, and at that, the people were asked, what benefit do we get? Helco said no, SPI said no. They said, oh, are we going to have cheaper electric rates? They said no. And they're like, well then, where's the electricity going? Well, it's going to Hilo or Kona. You guys don't need the electricity here now. There's not a demand here now for it. So why are we putting a substation and a wire across the road? If we don't even need it here, we're not getting any benefit for it. We're not getting cheaper electricity. 600 people signed that petition, said Peter, about, and this is the neighborhood. This is not just down there where they're going to be. Is who's listening to those people? There's 300 people that live down there who don't want that. There's one person who's going to have solar on 3 sides of their house. There's another one that's going to have solar on 2 sides of their house. They've lived there for 30 years. What are they going to do now? Leave? They can't sell their house if there's 30 sets of 9,000 panels around their house. And we have 700 plus people who live off the mainland in other countries who own land down there. Who's speaking for them? We have to speak for them. We're the only ones here speaking for them. You're supposed to be P, the public utility company, so you need to speak for the people. You need to step up and take the people under consideration that can't be there off the island and speak for everybody.
Thank you. You're opposed? And it would help if you let us know at the outset if you support or oppose. Philip Sharkey. Thank you.
The chain has obviously been linked to the overhead line, the substation, the solar farms. The reality is any break in the chain makes the whole project go away. And what we're looking to do here is to break the chain. We would like to see the Public Utility Commission disallow the overhead line. This may not be a permanent solution, but this is maybe a long, drawn-out battle for all of us here. We are faced with the industrialization to no benefit of our own, of our community. We don't need the solar station. I asked Helco, what's the benefit for the for the substation. Well, you may have a few less outages. I've been here over a decade. I can count the number of outages on one hand. I can tell you that I have lost no frozen food in all that time, so it didn't last that long. We don't need it. Ann covered the curtailment problem. This is never going to produce power for the island. The power is never going to get to Helco. The power is never going to get to Hilo. It's never going to get to Kona. Because there's no need for it. It produces power at the wrong time of day, when the lights are on and everybody's producing power. We want to encourage rooftop solar. We want to encourage alternative energy systems. This is not a solution for us. I implore the Public Utility Commission to disallow this project.
Thank you, Mr. Sharkey.
I'm going to, if it is all right, decline, but allow Nancy to take my spot.
We don't pass on the...
Okay, I am opposed to the overhead. It will give absolutely no benefit to our subdivisions on either side and can only cause problems in the future.
Thank you. Your opposition is noted. Tammy Ewers.
I am opposed.
Thank you.
The first opposition to it is the placement of the substation. In Ranchos, there was land set aside for a substation. That's not that piece. And for that reason alone, it should be opposed. The other thing is the only purpose of the substation is the solar installations. I refuse to call them a farm because they are not a farm. And that's the misinterpretation that they're using in order to even place it on agricultural land. Webster's Dictionary, agriculture, the science of farming, the science, art, or practice of cultivating soil, producing crops, and raising livestock. What they have is a factory, a man-made structure that's converting energy. It's not producing anything. It's not a farm. And so they should be denied that permit just on that basis. There's no benefit at all to the community. And it's your job to deny that substation on an improper piece of land. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Golson. Bobby Wood. Bobby Wood.
I've lived here for 16 years. I would like to go on the record as being against the construction of the 69 kilovolt line in our residential neighborhood. This project does not fit squarely in the objectives of the feed-in tariff program, and it in fact confounds the original objectives, which were to encourage small farmers and ranchers to use their unproductive land to generate solar power and so wean the island of expensive fossil fuels. A developer capable of developing 6.25 megawatts does not belong in a FIT program. Where permits are given for installations up to 250 kilovolts, it's like shoving a size 10 foot into a size 2 shoe. It simply does not fit. The developer, the SPI Solar, has stuck to the original perimeters of the program and built a manageable number of installations on real ag land. SPI would not have to ask Helco to build a substation, nor would it need to put a high voltage line through a residential neighborhood. Obviously, the high price of 23.8 cents per kilowatt for small scale farms was the big attraction. It appeared to be a quick and easy way to circumvent the bidding process required for huge projects. It must have seemed to SPI Solar to be clever to pose as a small developer to get permits and then create a huge project in order to get paid top dollar. In this way, they could avoid the competitive bids process, and if they could sell it without having to build it, so much the better. Sorry if I'm yelling here. This program was designed for shovel-ready projects, as it was in the interest of all Hawaiians to take advantage of renewable energy as soon as possible. However, instead of working quickly on encumbered land to create farms that would save Hawaii burning fossil fuels. Okay, I'm almost there. The developer chose sites within a huge infrastructure, problems that have so far taken Helco 5 years to fix. This is a boondoggle project, pure and simple. After 5 years, this project is still not shovel ready. Helco wants to build a substation on land where there is a cloud on the supposed easement. The land is already in use. The Rancho's Maintenance Road Corporation is already there and has an office on the land. The land has never been subdivided, which as far as I'm concerned, Rancho's is supposed to stay 3-acre parcels, never subdivided.
Thank you. Don Nietzsche? Nietzsche?
I've lived in Ocean View for 28 years in Ranchos, and I'm dead set against this project. And I think by stopping the overhead line, if that's the step number one, let's get that stopped to start with. So I'm speaking definitely against the project. I think that if they want to put a project like this in, I have no problems with that if they go somewhere where there's no residences and homes. There's lots of land on this island that they can put this in that wouldn't interfere with anybody's lifestyle. And it's ridiculous to come in the middle of it. The only reason to come in the middle of Ranchos is for money, cost. It's cheaper for them to use our road system and our overhead system, which is already in place. They can put in their own system and their own road system to get into their, off of a highway somewhere, away from a residential area. That's what my thinking is. I'm not against the idea of solar. We need to come up with ideas that make things more efficient for us and keep our power bills down, but coming into a residential area is ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Nietzsche. Ralph Rowland?
Okay. This is a really major dilemma. I'm against it for every reason imaginable. And I would say that the problem is an endemic problem of dysfunctional government and non-responsible elected and appointed people that don't know how to make a rational decision. And the train is about to leave, and you guys are about to jump on it. And you will take this to an absurd conclusion if you're not careful. And if you do take it to where the absurd conclusion is going, without any representative responses from county or state government that indicates that they have the capacity to reason, if you guys join this train, it'll be a crash train, and there'll be all kinds of pilikia in results. And it won't be in anybody's interest, including the dummies that have approved this stupidity. That's the bluntest way I can put it. Thank you.
Anthony Colombo?
I'm Anthony Colombo, and I'm opposed to the substation. Before I answer why, I have a question for you. Did you guys do a hazard and safety fire mitigation survey to see what the hazards are related to the substation and later on projects and all that?
Were you here when we opened the meeting?
It's not the same issue. That's what I was going to be.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, the substation itself, have you guys done one for this? Because I'm a firefighter here in Ocean View. And I can tell you right now, you're gonna get someone killed by putting all this crap in down there. We don't even have enough guys to respond.
Why don't you proceed with your testimony on the KV line?
Yeah, it's only on the line. I'm here for you to say.
Okay, the KV line is gonna get someone killed because once that goes in, another thing goes in, another thing goes in, and we get less and less budget each year. We have less and less personnel each year. We get more and more calls each year. Yesterday, we were all at South Point for a good 4 or 5 hours. There was no one available for emergencies in Ocean View. And we actually had a call in Ocean View. They had some people from Captain Cook because we were tied up down there. Now, if that line goes down, we're not coming back to help you guys. We're stuck over there. So, you know, I don't think you're letting people know the whole dangers that this comes in with, because that's also would be considered an industrial emergency response. We don't have enough personnel or the proper equipment to respond to any calls there.
Well, I've been here 28 years with Don, and I think one of the biggest problems here is we don't realize what we have here in Ocean View. We don't live like other people do.
Are you opposed?
Yes, I'm opposed. We don't live like other people do. Where you come from, you know, everything is relative, and we don't live like people do. And one of the things that they're saying, we're going to have one of these darling little things just across the corner from us, if it goes in, and they're saying, oh, well, we're going to put grass around it and fences, and we're going to plant pretty things. My question to them is, do you realize that we don't have water here? Who's going to pay for the friggin' water? And they don't know that, you know. In fact, my husband was on the committee for 17 years to get a water well in Ocean View. So when you come, and like Nancy, she put together a marvelous presentation the last time we had a meeting like this, which I think was, almost a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when we were over here. I'm listening to the same stuff that I listened to then. And it's like nobody's paying any attention. And I do not like not being paid attention to.
Thank you, Marty.
I don't believe there's anybody in this room that does want it. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. One person? One person. So that shows you right there. The only reason you're installing 69 kV transmission line is to service SPI's solar project. And the only reason SPI solar project is here is the fact that our neighborhood is zoned agricultural. By law, solar installations must go on land zoned agricultural, which sounds like a very good idea. With the struggling farmers with poor land, build profitable solar farms that would reduce the island's dependence on fossil fuels. According to the 2011, the Feed-In Terra program was set up to make it easy for small farmers and ranchers with limited access to capital to become small-scale energy developers. It was anticipated that this would have large appeal, and so rather than offer a few large-scale permits, the FIT program offered about 32 mid-size or Tier 2 permits with a maximum size of 250 kW. Thus, up to 32 landowners could benefit. Only 3 developers had taken a total of 7 permits when the SPI solar hurriedly buying all the housing lots that they could in Ocean View and leasing more. They bought 20 lots and leased 22 more. Buying 42 FIT permits, that's 10 more than the FIT determined that the whole island needed. Obviously, the ranchers and farmers were losers in the deal, but so are the electrical ratepayers in Hawaii. Having a huge foreign company enter a program plan for a small local Hawaiian developer completely confounded the objectives of the FIT program. For example, if the permits had gone to 32 local landowners, they would have immediately started building the solar installation to start earning cash. Not so with big developers. For them, the profit is selling permits. According to the press, Patrick Decker claims he spent $4 million acquiring about 100 permits and then sold them for $44 million.
Please summarize.
It just all boils down to this. It's not good for this area. The overline is not safe. And if anything, it should be underground.
Thank you. Mike Klein.
Yeah, I'd just like to let you know that I'm opposed to it. I'm a landowner in the ranchos. I've also commissioned 500 megawatts of solar fields. Your 39 kV line is an industrial application. Everything that they're building down there is an industrial application, is in a residential area. That's all I have.
His name is Michael Last. You're last.
I'm in favor of this line, but only this line. That is all the PUC is taking testimony about today. Am I correct, sir? So everything else that anyone said is not applicable to your ears.
It doesn't apply necessarily to the issue.
Correct.
But it doesn't, let me just say it hasn't fallen on deaf ears.
Okay. But I'm totally in favor of it because the lines along the highway are 69 kV. What is the difference of extending the line to a substation, regardless of what the use of the substation is? My position as an electrical engineer is that it is required to give equal distribution of power to everyone here on the island. Now, to go across the highway with a 69 kV line is no more hazardous than the 69 kV lines along the highway. If someone hits a pole, the line might come down. I doubt it. I'm sure Helco takes into consideration the National Electrical Code and any other code that they're building this line and this substation with. And the substation, I don't see it any more detrimental to the substation that is up in Pahala on the highway there. Nobody took exception to that I'm aware of. Thank you.
Thank you. You live in Rancho? Hold on. Hold on. He's here to make a testimony. Let him testify. Respect him. Would you like, what was your name? Would you like to let him testify? Please respect his right to testify. Okay. We've concluded the public hearing. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, my question is, Ian Craig's here, but when we had a meeting for the community to try and work with them, they never showed up.
Well, if you let me, at the conclusion, as I said at the beginning, at the conclusion of the hearing, representatives of Helco and the developer will remain to answer any questions that you might have. And so they will, I'm going to take them at the word. You're going to be here to answer question of the community, the developer as well. So please feel free to interact with them. We'd like to thank you for taking the time on this President's Day to come out and testify. We're here because things got kind of tight on our calendar. We have a merger hearing in Honolulu that has been taking up 20 days. And so we've kind of scrunched everything into all of this. We will take all of this back to Honolulu with us. I would like to tell you that in what I said to the last testifier, much of what our hearing today is focused on the 69 kV line. But let me assure you that the feelings and sentiments and emotions that you expressed have not fallen on deaf ears. I cannot tell you what our decision will be. We will have to be guided. We are constrained by the requirements of the law, and we will apply it accordingly. But we want to thank you for coming out. Yes.
Randy, I'm sorry. I'm just a little confused. I don't know. I see that your nameplate says that you're the chair, and you said that you were the decision maker, or you're.
The commission is. The commission is.
And are those people elected officials?
No. Yes.
So, really, in a way, if we disagreed as a community, there really would be no recourse. We couldn't not elect somebody because of the decision. If for whatever reason the project went ahead, despite our objections to it, we would have no recourse. Is that correct?
We will render. May I ask your name?
My name is
Sam.
Sam Buddha, BUDA.
BOD, Mr. Buddha, we're going to render the decision we're going to render. And if that means you have no recourse, it means you have no recourse.
So the idea of democracy and the greater good for the greater number.
Well, understand, you have the consumer advocate there, who is your representative. If the consumer advocate disagrees with the decision strongly, the consumer advocate can take action. Understand our role. We are not advocates. We are not elected officials. We sit as a quasi-judicial body. To make it clear to you, we sit as judges. And so we are guided by what the law requires us to do. And we make the decision that the law requires us to do. And if there are processes in a judicial proceeding that allows for appeal, you can take advantage of them. When I meant that you have no recourse, it meant no political one. We make our decision as judges, and that's what we're going to do. Yes?
Hopefully you'll have the morals that you need to make that kind of
To
decision.
follow up on his question, so you're telling me that this commission, which are nice people, that they live in Oahu, do they all live in Oahu?
No. One lives on Maui.
One lives on Maui. So if they decide...
It's a three-person commission.
A three-person commission, okay. So if they decide, how do they, what makes it relative to them, what we are going through because of the fact that we are so different? Every island is so different. And how can they possibly understand what we're going through over here by the rules and the things that they know where they live?
Well, that's why we came. That's why we came. To hear you. And we have. Two.
Two guys, bless you.
And show the tape.
Okay.
Yes.
A question, sir?
Yes.
So you say you're appointed official, so are you appointed by the governor?
Yes. Appointed by the governor, confirmed by the Senate. Like judges. Yes. I beg your, yeah.
Just curious, why this public meeting is held way after the fact of all of these things have been put in place and negotiated and planned and everything. Why is the input in the public asked for after? Why is that? Why don't we get asked for prior to these things meeting?
As I said at the outset of the hearing, as I said at the outset, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but I said at the beginning, and I'll repeat it. Back in 2010, the commission approved the FIT program, not this project, the FIT program. We capped it, a certain amount of programs. That was 2010. The interaction on projects is between the electric utility and a developer. It does not involve the PUC. With respect to the 69 kV line, if it had been underground, we would not have a public hearing. The law requires a public hearing, which is why we're here, if the line is overhead. If there was no line overhead, this deal would have proceeded.
So what I'm thinking, in summary, the reason we're not informed until after the fact is because the law does not require that.
No, I was talking about the KV line. Okay, only about the KV line, so please don't take it beyond that. Okay, now go backwards. Go backwards. With respect to FIT projects, this project in particular, or other projects, the interaction is between the electric utility company and the developer to make a deal. If there are permits required, land use permits, that does not involve the PUC. If it involves water permits, it does not involve the PUC. If it involves building permits, it does not involve the PUC. We are here tonight for the KV line.
No, thank you. I agree with that.
Yes, one last question.
But you do understand that the KV line is step number one to the overall project.
You made that clear tonight.
That's very important. Can we, in public, ask the power company some questions?
They'll be available for you after the hearing, and it might be easier for you to interact with them without the formality of the hearing. You had a question back there? No. Hold on. You had a question.
Sorry, Miley David. I'm a council member from this district, and I've been at many meetings about this, and I understand why you're here and having this public hearing about the overhead lines. So there's only, in my listening to you, there's only one option that these people have in any decision that is made is not in their favor, and that is through the consumer advocate. Right. So aside from that, if that fails, what are the options for these people as far as getting their issues heard?
Well, I'm sure you can help them, but with respect to our decision, if there is no appeal, it is final.
And so the consumer advocate would be the last deal.
The consumer advocate is representing the ratepayers' interest, the public interest in this case.
I see. And there's no level above that.
No. If, like I said, I make an it's not even an analogy. If a party is dissatisfied with a court decision, he appeals it, or she appeals it, or it appeals it. If there's no appeal, the decision is final.
So who appointed the consumer advocate? How did he become our advocate? I don't know all that.
That's by.
I'm appointed by the governor.
You're also Democratic.
Okay. One last question. You, sir.
Are you aware of Governor Ige's statement concerning the change in law that allowed the solar projects to go in?
I beg your pardon?
Are you aware of Governor Ige's statement concerning the solar projects that were allowed to go in here?
No.
What he said when questioned about the law that was put in place that allowed the construction of these sorts of installations on Class B and lower agricultural land, well, we need to fix that. That's an unintended effect. That's what the governor said. Or even the governor understands what's going on here. You guys have the power to stop it. It may not be down the center of what you're looking for, but you guys have the power to make this right. And we're begging you to please do so.
Thank you.
There is currently legislation underway to block this type of installation. So please, do your job as a servant of the community and block this project.
Thank you. Next.
I'm Richard Cregan, I'm the state representative. Right?
You are, I beg your pardon? Wait. I can't hear.
This is Richard Cregan, the state representative.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm Richard Cregan, I'm the state representative. I just wanted to clarify and augment what some people have said. Currently, there is a statute moving through the legislature that would make this type of installation illegal going forward and would not allow this to expand. And the governor, strongly supports that legislation and actually suggested that it be done. So, unfortunately, it was an unintended consequence of a law that he supported, and realized this is an unintended consequence which he can't dial back, but we're hoping to dial back for the future. Now, all we can do when we pass this statute, it will mean that this project can expand, but we're hoping that with your help, or at least the help of the consumer advocate, it can be stopped now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the representative from Helco and the developer will be available to answer your questions. Again, thank you for coming, and this concludes the public hearing.